Hey, Curt Hennig fans. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Curt Hennig Was the Best. Changed my mind. I'm your host, Steph. Today on our perfect podcast, we're going to watch along to Curt's match with Sam Houston. Yeah, Sam Houston. This was a great match. I thought Kurt was still in his prime. He had just become, Mr. Perfect. And, they were talking about how Sam Houston was kind of like from Texas and stuff. So, but two second generation superstars, of course, everyone knows, if you don't know, Sam Houston was the son and brother of Jake the Snake, and of course, Jake's father. So he was a brother of Jake the Snake Roberts, younger brother, and of course Robin was also the sister. So let's go ahead and start. But just I want to make a quick announcement that soon my hair will not be red. We're gonna give up the ghost on that one. Again, I just don't have the money to maintain it. I also just am tired and just want to I'm tired of coloring it, and I think it needs, a break, as it always needs a break. um Also, I want to let everyone know that if you would like to send money, my PayPal is the link is in the description, along with my Cash App. Just let me know what you're sending or which show you're sending for. That way I can, if I have to, I will distribute evenly. Okay, so let's get started with a little bit of news that I happened to see uh on X. Now, this is apparently I do watch the Dutch Mantel podcast. I also listen to, as everyone knows from Pro Wrestling Talk, that I also listen to Jim Cornette's podcast. So I've been watching Dutch Mantels now. He did talk about Curt briefly, and we of course talked about that on his rib collection, which will be coming out soon. It actually is already out. It is episode 60. So if you want to stop this and you want to go back and you want to actually look at that, um, since this is episode 64, you can actually go back to episode 60, and we do the Ultimate Rib Collection number 2, and that has Dutch's. He talks about how Curt, kind of left a surprise for everyone in the Puerto Rico territory and sort of got kicked out of it. So I think that I mean, Curt was he couldn't break the spot. You couldn't just get out of the ring or out from under the ring and be like, "Oh, by the way, I'm here." And like Dutch said, in Puerto Rico, if you dim the lights, it took like 20 minutes for them to come back on. So I urge you, if you did not see episode 60, please go back, stop this episode, but do come back. I would like you to come back. So stop this and then go check out episode 60, where we talk about we talk about his Ultimate Rib Collection number 2. And this had a lot more ribs in it, I think. Some oldies but goodies, but um I mean, the fact that we talk about the Sean Stasiak one too, and I was doing a little more research. I honestly think that the one who threw Sean Stasiak's bag in like away or whatever, I think it was Randy Orton. I know, and like I say in the episode, I think Curt got blamed for a lot of ribs that he just didn't do, but he got blamed for them. And Brian Knobb says he blamed like he shaved off Ric Flair's eyebrows, and and then shaved off his own and said, "Yeah, Curt got me too." But he's the one who actually shaved off Flair's eyebrows. But see, Curt gets blamed and he didn't even do anything. So excuse me, I'm sorry. Um so just it's fascinating to me that Curt would do these ribs, but yet he would get blamed for ribs that he never even did. So anyway, speaking of Dutch Mantel, I had seen this on X and I was just appalled with it. Um, Now, I mean, Dave Meltzer, whatever he used to be, and of course, this is going to come out in like the middle of December. So this would already have been passed. I'm recording this as of November 13th. Unlucky 13. Unlucky for some. For those who know that British comedy will know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, if Dave Meltzer used to be a great journalist. Okay. So says some. Okay. So whatever Dave was before, unfortunately, he is not that now. Okay. And it's because, no offense, but if you put down Tony Khan or AEW, which is crap, it is crap, guys. I've seen some of AEW and I'm going, what was that? It's not even entertainment, really. But I mean, if you like AEW, great, more power to you. But I just can't get into a bunch of people who sit around and do flips and flops and, go into glass, jump into glass windows. I can't do that. I mean, if that's what you like, great. Watch it all you want. But it's appalling when literally a so-called journalist goes after people, they go after the guys, but they also go after their families. And that's appalling. I mean, how would you like it if someone had done that to you? You wouldn't like it. So just because we talk bad about Meltzer's boyfriend, Tony Khan, which we have every right to do because it's called free speech, guys. It's called free speech. But I think I will let Dave Meltzer talk. Excuse me. I think I will let Dutch Mantel speak for me. So I'm going to share my screen, and you'll see what I mean after I pull it up. Okay, so everyone sees that there. Excuse me. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to let this run as long as I can without stop. I'll try not to stop it. Unfortunately, with the way things are or how they have turned out, Dutch Mantel was in the hospital. His wife was also in the hospital, and they had stuff that could have deleted them. Okay, they could have passed away, but they didn't. They were fighting basically for their lives. And David Meltzer had to put his 2 cents into it because of his little boyfriend, Tony Khan. So again, I will leave it up to Dutch here, but I just want to, I probably will stop and start it just to say a few comments, a few words, but I just want to, also, I give all rights to James. This is his. I tried to get permission if I could use it. I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. But because I want everyone to see how appalling this is, and just ask for you to kind of. I mean, let me just do the video, okay? Before I get upset and start saying things that I just don't want to say. Okay, so here we go.
The person who, if they started a GoFundMe, absolutely no one would donate?
Several people.
Well, let's call this one Dave Meltzer.
I knew it. I knew it.
So, Dave Meltzer, the Wrestling Observer newsletter writer, prolific, effluvia spilling out from his pen or typewriter or keyboard over the decades. Anyway, he wrote something in the newsletter about you and the GoFundMe. Have you read this in full?
Some of it.
Why don't I read it all?
I haven't read it in full.
Well, not the newsletter, but the bit pertaining to you.
I've read what you posted.
Okay, that's enough. So I'm going to read it here now, and I'm sure it'll come up on the screen soon enough. So essentially, Meltzer writes, you and your wife weren't doing well. There was a GoFundMe out. I'll quote this here. They had raised $64,200 with most of care, full stop. And then, just aside from the fact that he's already spelled your name wrong, and then he's just inserted a sentence, he then goes to they had raised $64,200 with most of the top donors being anonymous. And the largest known donors were Tony Khan, $5,000, and Chris Jericho at $1,500. No mention of many anonymous people, no mention of Jim Cornette, who donated $5,000, that kind of thing. No mention of the anonymous person who donated $5,500. So that being said, with Khan, many pointed out that mentality.
Well, I just want to stop it here. I'm sorry that I have to stop and start it, but no offense, but first of all, who gives a crap about Jericho? First of all, Jericho shouldn't even be near a wrestling ring, let alone, I mean, and Chris Jericho makes millions of dollars. And that this freaking cheapskate gives $1,500? I mean, really, Jericho, you really want to stay that relevant? I'm trying to be nice. I mean, in my opinion, this is just crap. It's just crap. And I don't like it at all. So he mentions Tony Khan gave $5,000. Guys, and I'm not trying to be mean, but people need to stop worshiping billionaires. Okay? Billionaires are not here to help poor people. Not saying that Dutch is poor. I didn't say that. Well, what I am saying is that people who make billions of dollars who only give $5,000. Now, yes, no, I'm not saying that he couldn't have given. He could have gave nothing. He could have gave nothing. But keep this in mind. Rockefeller, the Rockefellers, he paid the media off to make him look like a swell guy. So don't give Tony Khan too much credit here, because this could just be, hey, why don't you stop saying bad things about me, or I won't give to you anymore. Again, guys, stop the worshiping of billionaires. And then you had people like, well, how much did you donate? I didn't donate anything. You know why? Because I'm poor and don't have any money. Walk a mile in my shoes. How much did you donate? Do you have money? Do you know what it's like to be poor and not have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of? Do you? I have 4 jobs and I can just barely make ends meet. What are you doing with your time? Meanwhile, you got a billionaire who gives $5,000, which is literally like a little snippet. Trust me, and I said this to someone else. I said if he gave $100K, it would be literally a drop in a bucket for him. And of course, YouTube deleted my comment because God forbid I'd actually tell the truth about a billionaire. Tony Khan is a billionaire, guys. Stop this worshiping of him. And before you, like I said, before you say, well, how much did you donate? I don't have $1 billion, guys. But I'll tell you what, I sure as heck wouldn't give Dutch Mantel, no matter what he said about me, I wouldn't give him just $5,000. I'd probably give him $100K. Because again, that's a drop in the bucket for someone who has $1 billion. Tony Khan spends more than that on his crap wrestling that he calls AEW. And yes, I don't like AEW, and I'm not going to spend the stupid money to have this crap called wrestling. It's not even entertainment. I've seen AEW. It's crap. I wouldn't watch it even if you paid me to watch it. And I'm sorry, Dave Meltzer, that your little boyfriend, the one you suck his dick all the time. And that's what he does, guys. Dave Meltzer is butthurt because people like Dutch Mantel and James, I forgot his last name. I'm so sorry, James. Don't crucify me. That James and Dutch Mantel talk bad about his boyfriend. He's butthurt. He is butthurt that literally if you say anything against Tony Khan, well, now you got a stain on you. I don't know if I don't think David Meltzer blocked me. I think I blocked David Meltzer. Because what a shitty person. A shitty person. Just because we talk bad about your boyfriend, how would you like it, David Meltzer, if we talked bad about your family? And I'm sure you're probably reading what's left on the thing. I always do that. I always like pause it and I'm like, well, I can read this for myself. I know. It's disgusting. Once you read it, it's absolutely disgusting. And Meltzer should be ashamed of himself. How dare you, David Meltzer? You give crap wrestling and crappy wrestlers, and I use the term loosely because they're not even freaking entertainers. You give those chumps 7 stars. Meanwhile, they couldn't even lace up Curt Hennig's boots. None of them. Not one person on that roster could lace up the boots of Curt Hennig. Not one of them was the wrestler he was. And you have the audacity to sit here and smugly write all this bullshit. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how you freaking sleep at night, David Meltzer. How do you sleep at night? This is ludicrous. How would you like it if we made fun of your wife, if you even have one? Or do you just suck Tony Khan's dick all day? Is that what you do? You want to get radical? You want to get personal? Trust me, I don't like Tony Khan. Billionaires are billionaires. And they ain't out to help poor people like me. And I don't give a crap what Tony Khan thinks either. Everyone knows he has billions of dollars. He has crappy wrestling that he calls wrestling. He has crap. You don't even have to take my word for it. Look at the freaking ratings. It's public knowledge that these ratings are in the freaking toilet and have been ever since the CM Punk incident. It's public knowledge. Look it up. How dare you? How would you like it if we went after your family, David Meltzer? God forbid your wife or your children or your whatever would get sick and need care. Again, Chris Jericho is a piece of crap. I wouldn't even let him in a wrestling ring, let alone a wrestling business. I wouldn't let him anywhere near that stinking ring because he sucks. Chris Jericho sucks. He always has sucked, and he always will. Tony Khan knows dick all of the business of wrestling. He knows nothing. Nada, nil, zilch. And yet this bullshit he calls wrestling, he's losing millions of dollars on it because he doesn't know anything about the wrestling business. And you sit here and smugly lecture people who are sick and in the hospital because they dared, how dare you, go after Tony Khan, your boyfriend. I'm going to let this run now. I'm sorry for the rant, but this is what caught my attention and made me very angry. So I'm going to let it play now.
Hal, as a podcaster, was brutal to Khan, even being critical of him when the promotion was at its peak popularity peak, and recently criticised him for the contract terms Swerve Strickland got on his recent deal. It is something when a former wrestler gets mad at a promoter who clearly can afford it for what he pays the top talent, and he was doing it after he knew the new deal was put together that was going to make the company exceedingly profitable. Wrestlers use
that. I'll cut that out. So I just wanted to stop it one more time. I'm sorry, guys. I know I said I would let it run. But I just want to bring up this point that, excuse me. I just wanted to bring up this point that he said what he pays his top wrestlers. Tony Khan is paying entertainers, and they're not even entertaining. Okay? David Meltzer needs to realize that these chumps they call wrestlers are not that. They are not wrestlers. They are not even entertainers. And Tony Khan is spending millions upon millions of dollars. And one more thing about the Tony Khan, if he had given $100K, I wouldn't be saying anything. If he had given $100K, trust me, that's a drop in the bucket for a billionaire, but that's more money than I'll ever see in my freaking lifetime. That's how poor I am, guys. And I have 4 jobs. I know what it's like to struggle. And I'm still struggling. We're all trying to get by. So going back to Tony Khan, not only does he pay millions and millions of dollars for talent that would not be caught dead on NXT, and we'll get to NXT too. Not only would he pays for these clowns that act like wrestlers, but he also pays them when they are injured and not on TV. Guys, how many of you have gone to a job, gotten hurt, and then they pay you even though you are hurt and you cannot work? Workman's comp is a joke. Workers' comp is a joke. How many times have people literally been denied workers' comp and they can't pay their bills and they can't live life? Yet these freaking people who act like wrestlers and not very good, they're not very good. They act like wrestlers and we're supposed to kiss their ass when they're injured. And they're not even on TV and they still get paid millions upon millions of dollars to sit around at home and do absolutely freaking nothing. How long was Miro on that roster? I think he's still on the roster, still getting paid. He's not even in the same country, I was told. Not on TV, not even in the same country. That's bullshit, guys. Especially for those of us who bust our butt every single day and don't have the kind of benefit to sit home and get paid millions and millions of dollars. You're not even entertainers. You do not entertain anyone except for a little bullshit person who is a billionaire who gets his jollies off by watching this pretend bullshit wrestling thing, something that he calls wrestling. It's not wrestling. It's not wrestling. It's not wrestling. All right. I'm going to try to not stop it next time. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Using the old school, he doesn't draw money, and not understanding that this isn't a mom and pop week to week business based on live event numbers, but one that is, in a worst case scenario year, would generate $250 million next year, and that most of that revenue is guaranteed ahead of time. It's difficult reading that out loud. It never scans well. So basically what he's done is, and I've said this on a video on WSI as well that a lot of people watch, basically Meltzer has turned the milk of human kindness of 2,000 people donating and basically turned it into a hit piece on you because you have been critical about AEW booking in the past.
Well, I try not to give anything Dave Meltzer writes any believability or credence. But that kind of pissed me off.
With me too.
Because all of a sudden, I think this speaks more of Tony Khan's humanity than it says anything about me. Even though, yeah, I have been critical of him, but isn't that my job?
Mm-hmm.
To go on here and talk about the business?
Yep.
And yes, I have said that he needs more story, and he just doesn't need to put.
He needs more than that. You need to rethink everything, not Meltzer, Tony Khan. Tony Khan literally knows dick all of wrestling, the wrestling business. He knows nothing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop it again.
Matches together and have them go 15 minutes for no apparent reason other than they're going to have a good match. I mean, I've seen acrobatics and I've seen gymnastics. I've seen the greatest moves in the world. Everybody has,
Yep.
if you watch enough wrestling on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me a story. So I'm doing my job, but he's saying, "Oh, I blasted him," and I think it says much more.
So yeah, I think, like I said, it goes back to, and they mention, NXT. Well, guys, I hate to break this to Meltzer and whoever, but no offense, well, a lot of offense, but NXT is still kicking the crap out of AEW. AEW has the lower ratings than WCW on WCW's way out. When before WCW got bought, they still had at least better ratings than freaking AEW. And again, Tony Khan, I've said this many times, Papa Khan, you need to pull the plug. This is shitty wrestling by shitty actors and actresses who are shit. It's garbage wrestling. This is not wrestling. This is garbage. Absolute garbage. All right, it's over now, so I'm going to go ahead and present my screen. I didn't expect to get a commercial there, so sorry. Okay.
Than it does about me, really. Because it's like, how many people has Dave Meltzer knocked?
Well,
So
you,
anyway, if
just
somebody-
then at your lowest point.
No kidding. And you can knock me, Dave. I mean, but you're knocking my family now.
And yeah,
And
his
that is
wife.
a no-no almost in any business. I almost died. My wife almost died, but yet you, to make a point that you don't like me, you got to come out and you got to blast me for that. So,
And like I said earlier in the program, how would you like it, David Meltzer, if we came after your family? Do you even have one other than you suck the dick of Tony Khan? Seriously, I want to know. Like, does he have any other family other than his freaking boyfriend, Tony Khan? How would you like it if we went after your kids, David Meltzer? Goddess forbid that your kids would have to be hospitalized because they're fighting a disease that could take their lives. Again, not always good for the goose if it's good for the gander, huh? You wouldn't have it done to you. You would not like that. But yet you get all butthurt because someone says Tony Khan doesn't know what the heck he's doing when it comes to the wrestling business, which is a fact. It is a fact that Tony Khan does not know what he's doing. He has shitty garbage wrestling. That literally is bullshit. Nobody watches it. That's why the ratings are as low as they are. Because even the fan base of AEW is getting tired of the shit. It doesn't make sense. And you don't know how to book, Tony Khan. Give the booking over to someone who knows what the hell they're doing. But you won't. Because in your mind, when you were a kid, you wanted to be a wrestling booker. Well, guess what, bud? And I'm going to say this to all the rich people. Guess what? You wanted to be this and you made your dream come true. You came from a wealthy family and you can do this shit. Doesn't mean you should. Just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you should do the shit that you think you can do. Dusty Rhodes said, don't do shit you can't do. Dusty Rhodes said that. And Dusty Rhodes was one of the greatest bookers in the world of wrestling. Take it from someone who knows the wrestling business. Tony Khan, get the hell out. Papa Khan, like I said, you need to pull that plug. It's time. When you have the lowest ratings, even lower than WCW when it went out of business, I'm talking lower ratings than anyone has ever seen in their freaking lifetime of a wrestling program. That's AEW in a nutshell. It's time to pull the plug. You're losing more money with AEW wrestling than you are with the football. And football has become just like the WWE. It's all staged. And you guys can believe that or not. I don't know. I'll probably lose some fans. That's fine. But I have a right to express myself. And this is crap.
oh, yes, I did say not flattering things about Tony Khan.
As right we should. We have a
But-
right.
Meltzer, you've done a lot worse because you've had your thing going a lot longer than I have. And I was just basically doing my job. So,
Right. He's had his head so far up Tony Khan's ass, he could probably tell you what Tony Khan had for breakfast. Meltzer, this is not a contest because Tony Khan lost. And if you think what Dutch Mantel said about Tony Khan was bad, wait till Jim Cornette talks about it. Because Jim Cornette has literally said that Tony Khan does not belong in the business of wrestling, period. And the F-bomb is going to be flying. Now, I'm trying to maintain control so that I don't lose control and start saying the F-bomb myself because YouTube doesn't like that. But Meltzer, and like I said, he probably doesn't watch my show. But if he ever did, get your head out of your ass. Tony Khan, your boyfriend, knows absolutely nothing about the wrestling business. If you don't believe me, look at the freaking ratings. It's public knowledge that they suck. They suck. Like I said, they have lower ratings than WCW did before WCW got bought out by Vince. This is not rocket science. This is wrestling. And Tony Khan ain't got it. He's just a silly little billionaire who thinks he knows everything about the wrestling business. Newsflash. Now, again, I'm not sticking up for Vince McMahon. I am not Vince McMahon's fan. I don't like Vince McMahon. I don't like him. I don't like his character, and I don't like him. But Vince came from nothing and made himself something. You were born with a silver spoon in your fucking mouth. Excuse my language. In your freaking mouth. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you think you know everything about wrestling. You don't live in reality, Tony Khan, and neither do you, Dave Meltzer, saying that garbage wrestling is better than Curt Hennig and Bret Hart at SummerSlam 91. Oh, well, they got a 4-star match. Baby, that was a 7, 10, whatever. How many? 20 stars. That was a 20-star match. Curt Hennig was hurt. And he still gave the fans and Bret 110%. Take that in your pipe and smoke it, Tony Khan. That's shit you wish you could do. You wish you had Curt Hennig. You wish you had Bret Hart. But they wouldn't give you the fucking time of the day. Because you're garbage. You're a garbage person and you're a garbage wrestling promoter. Like I said, I'm no fan of Vince McMahon, but Vince made something of himself. He made himself a billionaire. Now, off of the back of the wrestlers who actually drew him money. Tony Khan, your wrestlers aren't drawing shit. They're lucky if they do draw shit. That's the best thing you got going for you.
He pisses me off. I can't quite get my thoughts together. Well, I'm still recovering from what he said. I would like to walk up on him. I can't now. I'm too old now. But I would just like to walk up on Meltzer and just slap the dog shit out of him.
I'd help you.
Because some things deserve a good, hard slapping. Not a punch, but a slapping. And
I'd help you.
I've read some of Meltzer's stuff. Yeah, I could knock that too. And I've always said he is a good writer. He's a prolific writer, but he just writes too much. And he goes on and on and on and on. So I don't even know why people even pay attention to him anymore.
They don't.
But I don't even know why he had to get that in there. Unless you said he had a score to settle with me. And why was that score? And you're right. You're on your analysis of it. Yeah, he's pissed at me. And he's been pissed for like 5 years.
His little feelings got hurt.
So we've talked about this before. Is this purely over a disagreement over how many people were at an event in Memphis back in the day?
Which is so
or am I
freaking
reading
petty.
Something else?
It's petty.
No, he was printing a bunch of misinformation.
He was.
And when I tried to correct him, no, he wasn't going to do that.
Non-factual.
I did this on Twitter when it was still Twitter. And all of a sudden, I blasted him a couple of times on there, and people were reading it, and he just blocked me.
Consider
out
it a
of the
badge
clear
of honor.
blue, and I've never heard another word from him.
Consider it a badge of honor.
Now, that's a chicken shit way to do. If he wants to defend himself, defend yourself, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I think he told somebody he was clogging up my Twitter, and he was doing this, and he was doing no. I was telling the truth, and you didn't want people to know it, Dave. I've left it alone for now, but I wish I still had that. This
is David Meltzer and on Tony Khan.
That being said, my video that I did a couple of days ago has done 125,000 views, right? Something like that.
I saw it.
And there's no way he can't know about it. There's no way that he can't. here's the thing: I don't think he will ever reference it, because like when he posted on a Wrestling Observer bulletin board forum this like screenshot of an Excel spreadsheet of AEW's expenses of 2023 or whatever it was, and it was just something that somebody made up, and then without checking anyone, Meltzer posted it as real, and then started analyzing.
No offense, but he sounds like someone from the mainstream media. They do stories, but they don't do any fact checking or any background checks either. They don't do any journalism. Is that what it's come to, Meltzer? Is that what it's come to? Someone who used to write eloquently about the Montreal Screwjob with Bret Hart. Now you've turned into a bullshit propagandist, just like the mainstream media. And I'm talking also Fox News. Fox News, I consider them propagandists. For heaven's sakes, Meltzer, you've become your worst enemy. You have now become the propaganda. All because your little boyfriend, Tony Khan, whose dick you suck every day. Oh, somebody said something about Tony Khan. How dare you? That's my boyfriend. Get yourself together, Meltzer. Take Tony's dick out of your mouth and become a real journalist. Will you do it? It's time to stop being butthurt every time someone talks bad about AEW, because AEW, I hate to break it to you, is shit. It is garbage. It is literal garbage. And you know it, Dave Meltzer. And you know it. Even Jim Cornette can see this. They did a ratings. We went over that where they did they talked about the star ratings. That's why I made my own star ratings, because all of it is -10 stars because it's shit. Excuse me. None of those wrestlers, as you call them, and they're not even fucking wrestlers. They're not even entertainers. They're not entertaining. They're just jumping into garbage cans, and they're jumping into glass, and they're jumping off of tables, and they're jumping off of this and that. Ooh. And they're putting bags over people's heads. They're putting syringes in people's mouths. That's not wrestling. That's garbage. And I wouldn't even see that on a fucking soap opera today. It's not even a soap opera. It's literal garbage. And Tony Khan wants to call it wrestling. And David Meltzer gets a freaking butt hurt every time you put down his boyfriend, Tony Khan. That's why no one takes you seriously, Meltzer. Nobody takes you seriously anymore. Because you rather suck the dick of Tony Khan than actually give real facts about the wrestling business. Now, and again, the only reason why I watch WWE is because some of it is good. Some of it is horseshit. There's some stuff in WWE that I wouldn't watch even if you paid me to. But when all of it is garbage, then I have something to say about it. Triple H is actually doing a great job. Better than Vince McMahon was doing. And again, I'm no fan of Vince McMahon. But at least Vince McMahon had talent around him. Tony Khan has nothing. He has old, washed up people who shouldn't be in wrestling. I'm looking at you, Chris Jericho. You have washed up people who literally had no career whatsoever. Sting sucks. I never liked Sting. Ever. That Crow period, you should have stayed mute. If anyone should have stayed mute, it should have been Sting. I hated Sting, even in WCW. He was a garbage wrestler, and he always will be, and he's washed the fuck up. Then you have other garbage wrestlers who want to climb Mount Everest. Like that's a fucking wrestling thing to do. Pardon my French. My language is getting a little too, I apologize. But this stuff is what pisses me off about this kind of stuff. You want to act like a real wrestling booker? You want to act like Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, Tony Khan. He didn't think he could run a wrestling promotion. He had a dad in wrestling. Your dad owns NFL football team. That's it. That's it. Your father was not a promoter, which shows that you know absolutely nothing about the business. Nothing at all. And you call yourself a wrestling booker? Wherever Vince McMahon is, he's laughing at you. Again, not a fan of Vince McMahon. But at least Vince had the talent around him. Tony Khan has none of that. So go cry to your little butthurt boyfriend, Meltzer. Yeah, Meltzer. If this makes you butthurt, then you got problems.
Analyzing it, he even had the word guess, the actual word guess on it, and he still thought it was red. And the point was is that he's never acknowledged that because there's no defending it, but he won't come out and apologize. And I think it's the same with this. He probably won't ever reference this, that he's written this bullshit about
Why would he?
and tried to bring it back to AEW because he's fucking obsessed.
Garbage that we all have to put up with. This is the garbage that literally is Dave Meltzer now. I think Dave Meltzer has been dropped on his head too much. I think he has some, brain injury or something. Has anyone checked him to see if he has dementia? Because this is what somebody on dementia does. Thinks that something that is garbage is completely, that's okay. I'm not a doctor, but I'm saying, has anyone checked and seen that maybe he has a head injury or maybe he has the starting of dementia? I mean, Dave's not a spring chicken anymore. But to get so butthurt over this. Oh, how dare you. Tony Khan is my boyfriend. Well, that's fine, Meltzer. Who cares? If you want to suck his dick, suck it on your own time. But don't come here and tell me that his garbage wrestling is good or deserves 7 stars, for freak's sake. 7 stars? For that garbage? Again, none of those people, none of those entertainers, as you call them, could even lace up Bret Hart or Curt Hennig's boots. Wherever Curt Hennig is, he's probably laughing at your ass at how stupid you are. All right. I'm not going to stop this because I'm tired of commercials. So I will try to, hopefully this will just play all the way through and then we'll talk about it.
He can't defend it because it just makes him look like the dickhead that he is. It's as simple as that. Now, sorry.
You call him a dickhead?
No, he's an absolute raging dickhead. And I don't know why.
That's
because
nice.
he just constantly, it's just this condescending fucking shit that he writes all the time to Twitter. I was like, reading is your friend. Yeah, reading is your friend. Well, reading what you wrote, Dave, in that has fucking cost me a few IQ points. It was so badly written and so unbelievably just fucking poorly thought out just to settle the score with Dutch. Anyway, let me just also read a couple of things. One, okay, a couple of times we made fun of Tony Khan, but like when he's got bug eyes and he's looking around constantly, and he's not very good at the news, the post-show scrums, your favorite word.
But that's not a knock. I would have said, he was sitting there like that.
I'd say that to you if you were doing that.
Yes.
It's like, man, you look like you had bug eyes and didn't know what you were doing out there.
No kidding. Okay,
because he doesn't.
I've said this about Tony Khan. The first time I met him, Jacksonville, Florida, he came up and introduced himself to me. I didn't know him from Adam's House Cat, but he came up and he introduced himself, and I found out about him. Very, very nice man, very nice guy.
Fine,
and I could tell by the way he was talking.
That doesn't mean he's a genius at wrestling.
He
or the wrestling business.
Wrestling, because I was still with WWE.
Okay,
at the
you
time.
can love it, but
and he's
if
from
you're no
Jacksonville,
good at it,
so he didn't have to make a long trip to come over there. And I talked to him about 15 or 20 minutes, and everything he was asking me about wrestling and he said he wanted to get into it then. Of course, you hear that a lot of times, but I didn't even know who he was. So I went back and I said, "Hey, who is that? Who is that guy?" and somebody told me who he was. And I remember he wanted to talk to Arn Anderson too. And he ended up, I said, Arn, a guy named Tony Khan out here, he wants to talk to you. And I think Arn had heard about him. And Arn went out there. Then I saw Arn talk to him for quite a while. But I had nothing but a positive impression of Tony Khan. And when he started the company, good for him. Now he can
Doesn't
give
mean
some
you're
of these
good at it.
wrestlers, he can give them a job, give them a place to make
Jump
some
off
money,
of stuff and land in class.
and he can see what he can do with it. But and some guys are good at booking, some guys aren't. Some guys are good at wrestling,
Tony
some
Khan's
guys
not
aren't.
good. This
But
is
I
crap.
think what Tony, and I've heard this, how can Tony book 3 shows at one time?
I mean,
I don't
Vince
know
did
any
more.
booker who could do that and not suffer burnout.
And also help run the Jacksonville Jaguars and Fulham Football
I'm
Club
gonna
as
talk
well.
about
So he's got
that in a
3
minute.
full-time jobs, really.
No,
I mean,
he's
no one has said that he's not incredibly hardworking. Everyone I've talked to said he's really nice, really generous. I said it in the other
That's
video.
fine.
I'd love to
He
shake
also
his
has
hand
$1
and say
billion
thank you
and doesn't care.
for what he's done for you. And obviously, as I say, he's a wrestling fan at heart, as we all are.
That doesn't make him good
And
at that job.
You know, a lot of the videos that we do criticizing the booking or production or whatever, it's not just blind hatred of the product. It is there's always a lesson. There's always constructive criticism or an idea of how it could be done or where something could go from there.
You can hate the content, but not hate the creator.
I never said I hated Tony Khan.
Dave throws all that in together because what he was saying was Tony Khan was an idiot
He
for
is.
donating to somebody who had knocked him in the past.
He's
but-
not an idiot because of that.
I don't know.
He's an idiot because he doesn't
But
know
not
anything
him.
about wrestling.
Not him.
You-
The product, ultimately.
Yes.
Now
I wasn't knocking Tony ever.
Now that being said, he also
I'll
says
knock
that
Tony.
you had
He's
mentioned
a freaking billionaire. He doesn't care.
Critical of AEW, the peak popularity, if I can say that, because that wasn't true. Because we started talking about AEW as soon as Brawl Out happened and CM Punk left, and then popularity sort of went downwards from there because CM Punk had left, and then they didn't really capitalize on it. And that being said, he also says a video recently criticizing contract terms that Swerve Strickland got in his recent deal. And it's like, yeah, we did do that because he hadn't been booked very well and he wasn't a very strong champion, but then he'd been given a huge amount of money. And then he says, even though AEW had been given a massive new deal, and it's like, well, by the time we made that video, no deal for AEW had been announced whatsoever. So that's a complete lie. And then he then also says, wrestlers using the old school, he doesn't draw money, and not understanding that this isn't a mom and pop week to week business based on. Right. Okay. So what, I won't reread it all, but all that Dave Meltzer has basically confirmed is that he doesn't think Swerve Strickland draws money either.
No.
So
Basically that's what he's saying.
So all he's done is criticize Tony Khan, criticize you, unknowingly criticize Swerve Strickland for not being a drawer and getting overpaid or getting paid by someone who can afford to pay him a lot of money. He always has to bring it to AEW. Even, what was it, Nikki Bella, he posted not too long ago that she was a victim of DV, domestic abuse, and somehow he brought that back to AEW. Also, keep in mind that Dave Meltzer is the person who once wrote that a wrestler called, I think it's Shibata, had his brain removed and then put back in a couple of years ago. And it's like, maybe Dave Meltzer's had his fucking smooth brain removed and they forgot to put it back in. And now he's just like, his body's just like some sort of just doing it automatically.
Well,
maybe.
I think he's totally off on a lot of the things he says. But if you call him out on it, it's like a personal attack on him. Listen,
his
Dave,
boyfriend.
you call yourself a wrestling historian, I guess. But he's not he doesn't give you the news. He gives you his opinion.
Yeah, his
Of course,
opinion.
the national news for years and years, I mean, on the national news, they've always given opinion too. So, but Dave beat them to that.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't say this and this and this and this. He gave you his reasons behind it. And Dave had a sordid history in the wrestling business anyway, because I've known him a long, long time, and I met him for the first time, I think, in Smoky Mountain days, and he wasn't very friendly because I don't think he's ever liked me anyway, and I've never liked him.
Unbiased news reporter decides that he hates somebody and then gives them unfavourable coverage while reviewing all the matches as well to his
Yep.
own tastes.
He's full of shit.
Yeah, you prick, dude.
I could have told you
So,
that.
he was all right when I interviewed him years ago, but I think he's gone absolutely. He's just the cheese has slid off his cracker, Dutch.
Like I said, he has dementia. I bet he has dementia.
He blamed podcasters for AEW not doing better.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
He blamed people like
Yeah.
me.
he. It's our
So
fault and
that's not
Cornette's fault and
blaming-
Bischoff's fault for turning all
Yeah.
the fans against them.
Yep.
Cornette, he buries them.
Of course he
Bischoff
does. And I
buries
can't wait to
them.
hear what Cornette has to say.
But all of a sudden, he saves all his venom for me, the bastard. How can people see, if they haven't already seen, your interview or your message about Dave Meltzer? I highly advise watching this, because James, he defended me and him, both of
Mhm.
us. And if I ever was charged with murder, James, you would be my.
Okay. So I'm actually going to go ahead and stop it there. We're going to stop sharing. So let me say a few things about this, and then we will move on. But this was the news of the day. So like I was saying before, guys, and I apologize for stopping and starting there, but this is the kind of stuff, and I can't, like I said, I can't wait to see what Jim Cornette says about this, because Jim is going to have a lot to say about this. Because I mean, Jim Cornette used to talk to Dave Meltzer all the time. Dave Meltzer was on top of everything when it came to, the Montreal screw job, and Dave was there and he interviewed people and he actually did journalism. I know, a shocker, right? It's like the journalists today, they forgot how to be journalists and just do whatever I'm a puppet, that kind of thing. Look, guys, I honestly think someone should give Meltzer a CAT scan. I think he has dementia. And I don't even have to go into the fact that, he's been, if you talk bad about AEW and Tony Khan, who is the boyfriend of Meltzer, then you're going to get a slashing on Twitter. And come after me, Meltzer. I probably blocked you. So come after me and do a grim job. Everyone who watches Jimmy Dore will know what that is, a grim job. Do it. Because nothing I'm saying is not a fact. AEW is garbage. And by the way, the Tony Khan thing booking, I don't think he books himself. I think he has he dictates the matches and stuff like Vince used to do to other people. Again, this is a billionaire. This is a guy who was born with a silver spoon in his freaking mouth. He doesn't do anything by himself. I'm sure he has handlers that do the things for him. Billionaires don't like to do this thing called living. They don't like to do this thing called working either. I am this show. I am the CEO of this show. Okay. I do everything for this show. I edit, I record, I edit, and do what I need to do to make this show what it is. Tony Khan doesn't do any of that. He has editors. He has people who do this stuff. I mean, for fuck's sake, they did a whole show with no audio because their audio wasn't working. That's when you call it a day. You call it a day. And you say, sorry, folks, our audio isn't working. We can't have a show this week. That would have been better than the stupid bullshit he tried to do with no fucking audio. And yes, Meltzer, I'm putting down your boyfriend. Maybe you should go to your safe space and hide and shake and cry for a while. Maybe get some ice cream. Because you're acting like a freaking depressed woman. Getting all mad because someone would dare to put down your boyfriend. I honestly think Dave Meltzer has dementia. I think he literally needs his head examined. He needs something examined. Because this is other shit. Your boyfriend is a billionaire who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And again, I'm not for Vince McMahon. I am not a big fan of Vince McMahon. I'm not a fan of Vince McMahon at all. I don't like the man. I think he was I think he also has dementia. And that's why WWE was suffering and had bad writing and had bad this and bad that. That's why I stopped watching it. I stopped watching in about 2003, 2004. As soon as I graduated from high school, I stopped watching it. Because to me, it was literally shit. There are some things that are still shit on WWE. And then there's stuff that's good. But AEW is all shit. It's all garbage. And just like with Vince, and they want to say, well, Tony has, all these shows. Vince McMahon did too. And again, not a fan of Vince McMahon. But he had what? Primetime wrestling plus Superstars plus Saturday Night plus pay-per-views. Now Vince eventually will have writers. Just like Tony Khan has writers. And don't tell me he don't. So I'm when comparing Vince McMahon to Tony Khan, there is no comparison. Vince is a billionaire for literally taking the business and having talent around him. Talent that could actually draw. Tony Khan is a silver spoon person who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth who doesn't know dick all of wrestling. He knows nothing about wrestling. And that's why the ratings are in the toilet. But Dave Meltzer wants to blame people like me, people like Bischoff, people like Jim Cornette, people like James, people like who actually talk about wrestling and know what the hell we're talking about. You want to blame people like me instead of blaming your boyfriend, Tony Khan, for being a shitty promoter and booking garbage wrestling. Look at the mirror. Look in the mirror, David Meltzer. That's where the problem lies. Look in the mirror. Okay, guys, I think I've said enough. We're already like almost an hour in, and we spent way too much time and breath on David Meltzer. Okay, so for those who are listening to the audio, we're going to go to Primetime Wrestling, Season 4, Episode 44, November 15th, 1988. This is the match between Curt and Sam Houston. I want you to watch this very carefully if you can watch it on Rumble. If you're on YouTube and you have it on another tab, that's fine. Watch this match. Watch the moves that these guys do. They don't need chairs. They don't need tables. They don't need to run through glass. They don't need that wow factor. Their moves alone was the wow factor. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you should see Gorilla and Bobby Heenan here. Okay, so I want you to watch. They're going to talk for a few minutes, and then we're going to go to the match. I want you to watch this and tell me if this match isn't in an all factor for you. These are two second-generation superstars who knew what the hell they were doing. Sam Houston, again, was the little brother of Jake the Snake. So he was second generation. All right, here we go.
Where I can tell you, that's right up your alley, running from here to there, trying to keep track of all your guys. But what will it be like when it's all over?
Well, you saw the big boss man handcuff Hulk Hogan one time. This time he's going to get some nice big shackles and shackle him again. And I think Savage is going to be in a lot of trouble because he's going to have nobody to depend on. Coco Beware, what help is he going to be? He's worried about his pigeon. Hell, Billy Jim, he's worried about Granny.
This is right before Survivor Series 1988.
For one moment that the World Wrestling Federation champion with this guy as his partner needs any additional help?
You better call out the Ohio National Guard.
You think so?
That's right. That's what I think. Akeem is too big. The big boss man.
You were smart, you know. You take a guy like Mr. Perfect,
He did in
the guy that
1991.
does the 360 jobs in midair there.
Right
Flying
after, I think it was
Your friend,
right
Blue Blazer,
after,
the Blue
or
Blazer,
like
take some, or
it
Mr.
was right
Perfect, he's
before
undefeated.
SummerSlam
Get some guys like
1990.
this
Oh, it was
instead of
1990. Excuse me.
has-beens that you're dealing
So
with.
right
in
before
deal with
SummerSlam
anybody like
1990,
If
you
got
will
a
see
guy who's
Bobby
afraid
with
of lumber,
Mr. Perfect.
snakes, and chains.
Don't ever raise your voice to me.
Oh, excuse me.
Call security.
Call security.
Oh, yeah, you're gone.
Let's go to ringside.
Here is Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig.
Hennig.
Well, there he is making his way to the ring, a man who believes he is absolutely perfect.
He is.
Curt Hennig.
He's absolutely
Hello,
perfect.
everyone. I'm Sean Mooney. Joining me here in the broadcast booth
No doubt about
is
that.
his lordship, Lord Alfred Hayes.
He's perfect.
Well, she said that one time.
Well, you know what I think?
Don't you think, the first time she saw him kick up his heels? Now, I didn't know the woman, but
She said the boy can dance.
the boy can dance.
Dance.
Well, you know what Renoir's mother said about
Renoir?
no, about
Sam Houston?
Curt Hennig.
No.
He's picture perfect.
Aha.
Not
Picture
too good.
perfect.
Not too good, but
I thought you were going to say his mother said the boy can paint. But
well, he's going to have to paint a pretty picture here if he wants to beat Sam Houston.
Come on,
well,
Curt.
Alfred, we've seen Curt Hennig, perform at billiards. We've also seen him in the bowling alley
Oh, ouch.
playing chess
Not
and
chess.
darts, of course.
And darts too. Yes, he was very good at darts.
That's right. Another lock up once again. Sam Houston, Curt Hennig.
As a matter of fact, he was
Whoa.
perfect at everything. See if he can continue this against Houston. I haven't seen any flaws yet.
Alfred, the countdown continues. You know what for?
Would it be the 24th of November?
I think,
Thanksgiving
yes,
Day?
indeed. 9 days away. The Survivor Series.
Isn't that on pay-per-view television
Yes,
everywhere?
it is. Everywhere.
Ouch.
In the United States. You can
See-
see it live on pay-per-view from the Richfield Coliseum.
I can be perfect on some of the questions, man. So
Yes.
far, everyone.
All right, can you
I'll
tell me?
screen
tell
them.
Come
me
on,
one of the,
Kurt.
Tell me about one of the spectacular matchups that are going to take place that evening.
Come on,
Or
Curt.
how about the
Give him a
tag
minute.
team elimination match?
Okay.
And,
Captains.
captains. Okay, let me have a go. The Demolition, who are the World Wrestling Federation champions, tag team champions. They are the captains of one side,
Right.
and opposing them, the captains are the other.
Oh,
The Barbarian
No thanks.
Warlord, collectively, powers of pain.
Oh, ouch.
Here, going after Mr.
Oh,
I think he
that was a
found
little
his
bit of a
spots,
hesitation
Alfred.
there.
He may have done.
Little bit of a botch, but it's okay. It's okay.
Double wrist lock.
I think they were. Kurt was anticipating something, and Sam Houston was anticipating something else. It was an accident. It happens.
Curt Hennig's elbow and continues to twist away.
You were saying 9 days, huh?
9 days away.
Okay,
You know what's
supposing you
match-
give me some of the teams.
Okay, I was just going to mention one matchup that I cannot wait to see is the team co-captained by the Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. Now, you know who is across the ring, don't you, Alfred?
I certainly do.
And what an encounter it is going to be.
Team and Boss Man.
Biggest man in wrestling.
The Big Boss Man.
Uh-huh.
And it's still fresh in the memory of the Hulkster, the beating he took at the hands of the former lawman.
Yes, and humiliation.
Also Akeem, the other co-captain.
Actually, a tremendous match. 9 days away, huh? I bet they're ready for that.
50 superstars involved.
Ouch.
Oh, look at Mr. Perfect.
These two men will be there. Sam Houston
Kurt was
pounding
with
away on
Rick Rude
Curt
and
Hennig, pardon me. Working
Andre
on Sam Houston here.
and Harley Race.
Doing everything. he
We
wants
actually
to
watched
right at the
along to
moment.
that.
Being perfect. Sam Houston has tried hard in this match, but he just can't seem to dent the defense of Hennig. Hennig not too much heavier than Houston, but infinitely more powerful and deadly accurate with everything he does. Look at that.
Oh,
Slingshot into the bottom rope. And that landed very effectively across the throat of Sam Houston. Slam Sam Houston into the turnbuckle. can suffer a very serious injury to the throat area coming off the rope like that, can't you, Alfred?
Indeed,
We've
you
seen
can.
some.
You know, he might have a little difficulty talking tomorrow, let alone singing to his dancing or anything like that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The abdominal stretch applied
Almost
here
fell
by
down.
Mr. Perfect. Although he doesn't really have his leg wrapped around, it doesn't seem he's getting the leverage.
He's not pulling on no ropes.
hasn't got it
Not even close
perfectly
to the
placed.
ropes.
The left leg should, the
Now,
heel
but
should
you'll
be
have to
hooked in.
mention that to him when he gets out of the ring.
I don't think I've bothered.
Probably wouldn't take too kindly to it, but you certainly would know an abdominal stretch when you see one.
Yeah, I felt it, a few of them. Sam only able to hang in there simply because that is not the perfect leverage that Hennig has applied. In fact, look at that, he's out.
And Houston takes him right over the top. But Houston
Oh, that had
still
hurt.
feeling the effects and cannot capitalize on it. And Mr. Perfect goes right after him. You know, another matchup that's going to take place in the Survivor Series. Co-captain, the Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, to co-captain a team of 5.
Ouch.
Across the ring is the former Intercontinental Champion, the Honky Tonk Man.
Well, I think that the Honky
Whoa.
Tonk Man and his partner, Ron Bass, have just a tremendous chance here in that particular match.
Yes.
Which, of course, is also on pay-per-view television, as they all are. 50 stars, you say.
Yes. A great way to see a spectacular event. You get to see all the behind-the-scenes interviews and all the up-close shots.
Right there in your living room.
Yes.
I know some friends of mine
Uninterrupted,
who,
no commercials.
they're having a party
Oh, no.
in several of my friends' houses. They just cannot make it, of course, all the way to Cleveland, Ohio, from
Yeah.
India.
But they will not miss it nonetheless.
No, they certainly won't.
Sam Houston coming alive
Oh,
here.
man.
Big right to the jaw of Mr. Perfect. Sends him into the ropes. Flying clothesline. Got some height on that. But it is not enough to keep the Perfect one down.
No, the perfect one has been looking very, very sharp, very keen, and very aware.
Hiya.
Oh, and look at that. What ring awareness he has. Without turning his head, he knew exactly where those ropes were, how far behind him. Perfectly positioned. A nice cradle
2.
suplex.
Perfect plex.
Flips him over.
Yeah, all
Houston
right.
could do nothing about it. Let's get the official word.
Here is your winner, Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig.
Now, Alfred, would you call that a perfect showing?
Now
by
that's
Mr.
perfect.
Well, it was, in fact. Yes. Let's have another look at this. He goes in, holds his left leg, grips that nicely, and does the perfect cradle suplex. Look at this. There is no chance whatsoever for Sam Houston to kick out, and that is a perfect victory for Mr. Perfect. We'll be right back.
Still perfect.
Okay. Gonna go ahead and stop sharing that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, kudos to Sam Houston and Curt Hennig. A 10 out of 10, a 10-star, 20-star match. Hey, I can be Dave Meltzer too. But I actually make sense in the stuff that I, watch and the matches that we talk about. Are all great matches because, they involve Curt Hennig, who was a second generation superstar and knew the business. So, I also want to make an announcement. I saw on X, because he was a good friend of Curt's. Wade Boggs has mentioned that he's on his last treatment of cancer, and now it's all in healing up from that. I'd like to extend Wade Boggs. We hope you do defeat cancer, and we're pulling for you. I'll be sending you healing energy, and blessed be to your family and you. I know you're going to pull through with this, and I'm very, very excited. I'm so glad this is your last treatment, and then we will pull through. It will happen. We will win. Okay. So great to hear. Awesome news for Wade Boggs. I'm so glad that he's doing much, much better. And like I said, Wade, we will win the day. Best of luck to you in the future, and we're gonna win. Okay. So I hope you like that. Next week we will have another episode. It will be the Super Pose Down. Now I have Angel Riviera so far. I'm going to try to get Matt Collins on as well, and we will watch the Super Pose Down. Like I said, the bonus stuff is coming, guys, because I promised it. And we're almost, I also have another announcement. We are almost at 100K on YouTube for this channel. This channel, I mean, you guys are awesome. I love you all. Thank you so much for, being subscribed to my channel. Oops, that's not the right one. I will get the official count. Give me 1 second. I am just so happy, so overwhelmed. You guys are just so great to me. Excuse me. We have 99,378 followers or subscribers on YouTube as we speak. Again, as soon as we hit 100K, guys, I will be doing the poll, the what won. I had asked a bunch of people, hey, what do you want to watch or what do you want to see when we hit 100K? You guys have spoken. You all would like to see Curt's interview that he did in late 2000 on a radio show. And I will be doing some commentary beforehand, and then of course some commentary after. So I'll probably um, you know, put it in clips. I'll have like clips of stuff that I do, and then and then you'll hear the audio. Everyone is going to hear the audio because I mean it's a radio show, so really it was only audio. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So you will only hear the audio of that. Everyone will, because again, it was just audio. But thank you so much. We are almost at 100K, and I hope we get to 1 million, just like Kit Cabela would say. But this Sunday, like I said, it is the 13th of November when I am recording this. So I will be recording another bonus feature. Like I said, I promised you Rick Rude fans that I would be doing this. We are going to record. I'm going to try to get Matt Collins and I already have Angel Riviera. But I'm going to try to get Matt Collins back on the show to watch along. We're all going to watch along to the Super Pose Down, which was Rick Rude and the Ultimate Warrior at Royal Rumble 1989. And this is for all my Rick Rude fans out there. Again, I promised you I would get some more Rick Rude content, and I am going to keep my promise along with the 100K, which we are going to hit very, very soon. So I will get that ready as well. And again, guys, I mean, check me out next week. Next week will be the Super Pose Down episode. So it'll probably be about the end of December when you guys see that. But again, I did promise you that I would do it, and I will do it Sunday. We're going to record that episode. So until next time, I will see you guys next week, and we will talk about Rick Rude, and we'll watch along. And then after that, I will do whatever matches next on the prime time that they do with Curt Hennig. I think we're going to stay with prime time a little bit, and then we can go back to WCW eventually. But I kind of want to break from WCW a little bit because I will have to backtrack a little bit. But that's it for me. Everyone have a great week. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. Have a great guy. Have a great one. Okay, guys, this is where we're going to do some shameless plugs here. So the first shameless plug, if you could please go over to my other show, which is Black Magic Talk. I will put the links in all the description fields. If you could just kind of browse it, if you are not only a wrestling fan, but you like Wicca or paganism, and you'd like to learn more about it. We just did some recent episodes. So if you'd like to hop over there, just click the link in the description field. If you would like to give to the Black Magic Talk Patreon, that link will be in the description field. And again, if you would like to have a tarot reading on the show, you can DM me on X. My link for that X will be in the description field. If you would like to do one off the show, you can also just DM me and I will give you my rate. My co-host is Matt Collins. He can also give you a tarot reading on the show or off the show. If it's on the show, all you would have to do is become a Patreon supporter for $5 a month. You get all kinds of perks. And again, we can let you know when you can come on the show. And if you'd like to do it off the show, Matt can definitely give you his rating for doing tarot. The next shameless plug I would like to do is, of course, Pro Wrestling Talk will always be on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is scheduled to change, but Angel and I will let you know on the Wrestling X. So if you would like to DM us at any time, me and Angel, my link will be in the description field for my Wrestling X, and that is for Pro Wrestling Talk, and also for this podcast, Curt Hennig Was the Best, Changed My Mind. If you would like to give to the Patreon, I have for Curt Hennig Was the Best, Changed My Mind. Again, you can go and look in the description field. It should be there. I have $1, $3, $5, and $10. The other show is just $1, $5, and $10. Or no, I'm sorry, it's $3, $5, and $10, I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. But if you could give, thank you in advance. If you'd like to ask any questions for pro wrestling or Black Magic Talk, you are free to direct message me on X, or Angel, my host for Pro Wrestling Talk. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, unless it is scheduled to change, but we will definitely let you know beforehand. So, of course, this show, I'm going to do a shameless plug for this show. Again, $1, $3, $5, and $10 you can contribute on Patreon. If you would like to give on Cashapp, I will take donations on Cashapp, but direct message me on X if you would like to do that, and I will give you my handle. So if you have any questions like about the show or any technical questions, you can always direct message me on my X, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. The next shameless plug I would like to do is for Hardlands Media, Kit Cabello, someone I call a good friend of mine. Please check him out. He is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central, and that would be 10 p.m. Eastern. So 9 a.m. Central, he is Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, depending on when you can catch him in a good mood for a Saturday brunch. If he does do Saturday brunch, I usually am sleeping or at work, so... but check him out. He's really good on politics, and I have the pleasure of calling him friend. Some more shameless plugs. If you could also subscribe to Angel in the Afternoon. He does a great job on politics as well. And that's Angel in the Afternoon, and he's usually on 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. That is also scheduled to change. If you have any questions about it, he'll usually let you know. And he will definitely, you can direct message him if you need to get a hold of him. The last one is Deconstructing. His name is Dave. I really recommend him too. He has a little podcast on YouTube. All you'd have to look up is Deconstructing Topics, and he does some really good stuff. I really recommend you guys check him out. Subscribe to everybody I just said here, and check them out. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. Hey, Curt Hennig fans, just want to let you know that the ending outro song is AI generated. Again, it is AI generated. Thank you all for listening. And remember, everyone, no one beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody.
He walked into the ring, a legend set to soar. In the flashing lights you could hear the crowd roar. With a twinkle in his eye, the swagger in his stride, Curt Hennig, he was more than a star in their eyes. From the farms of Minnesota to the wrestling hall, he stood undefeated through it all. A father, a friend, a hero we'd see, perfect in the memories for you and me. He was Mr. Perfect, never missing a beat. With every match, he rise to his feet. Though he's gone now, a hero we see, perfect in the memories for you and me. In the quiet of the evening, stars shining bright, you'd hear tales of his glory, longing to the night. With a grip like a vice, and a smile that gleamed, he lived every moment like out of a dream. His days in the sun, and the nights in the cold, the stories of Curt never grow old. Remember the laughter, the battles hard fought, perfectly missed, but never forgot. He was Mr. Perfect, never missing a beat. With every match, he rise to his feet. Though he's gone now, a hero we see, perfect in the memories for you and me. He was Mr.
Hey, for
Perfect,
Hennig fans, just
never
want to let you know
missing a
that the
beat.
ending outro song is
With
AI
every
generated.
match,
Again, it
he
is
rise to
AI
his
generated.
feet.
Thank you all for listening.
Though he's
And remember,
gone
everyone,
now,
no one beats
his
Mr.
legend's
Perfect.
still strong.
Nobody.
He used to Curt Hennig where he belongs.